Do you wonder how to manage stress while you're losing weight? Well, today I'm sharing 3 secrets that help me to deal with chronic stress while I'm on my weight loss journey. Hi everybody, I'm Cathy. I'm 55 years old and I am on a weight loss journey to lose 50 pounds. I began my journey July 10th of 2023 and I was doing great up until November. And my family received some devastating news, so I really haven't felt much like wanting to follow my weight loss program. So I'm going to be upfront with you. From November to the end of February, which is now, things have pretty much just plateaued and stayed the same. But I wanted to talk about some of the challenges that I'm facing and some of the solutions that I have come up with that are going to help me get through these difficult times, because let's face it, we all have challenges. There's always going to be stress in our life. And if we constantly put ourselves on hold, we're always just going to remain the same. And I'm no longer happy doing that. I was for the longest time, but I'm not anymore. So I am really fighting as hard as I can to stick to my goals and get to my 50-pound weight loss. So if that sounds interesting to you, click that subscribe button. It's 100% free. I upload videos 2 to 3 times a week, and let's sit back and let's have a chat. So being under stress and chronic stress really doesn't help when it comes to losing weight, because we know chronic stress can raise our cortisol levels, and for me that means putting weight on in my midsection. And it's always easy to put it on, but it takes forever to get it to come off. So as somebody who has been under chronic stress for 30 years, my husband was diagnosed with blood cancer 30 years ago, and then 17 years ago had a bone marrow transplant. And since then, life has been very, very difficult at times. He spent 2 years in and out of the hospital, and at one point, I moved into the hospital. They actually gave me a room where the residents rest at night because he was that ill, required round-the-clock care, and I guess that they just needed somebody to be with him all the time because anything you can imagine went wrong for him. But the important thing is he's here now. But sadly, the cancer has come back in a different area of his body. It has metastasized. It is now in his lungs. It is not lung cancer. It's a different form of cancer. There is no cure, but right now he feels good. But I cannot tell you how difficult it has been to, first of all, get through those 30 years and think that, you were out of the woods, because the last few years have been wonderful. We've been able to live a normal life, something that really we never really had the chance to do all these years dealing with his other cancer. Like, he could travel. He really felt good and was so happy and thought that, okay, for the rest of my life, things are going to be good. And then just out of the blue, faced another diagnosis, and a terminal diagnosis. There is no cure. And for now, they're not treating it. The treatment would cause a lot of harm. So he has decided for now, no treatment. Keep on keeping on. He's exercising every day, eating healthy, and keeping a positive attitude. And keeping a positive attitude is so important no matter what you are dealing with. And that is one of the things that has helped me keep my sanity all of these years, because I cannot express to you how dark some days have been along this path. So I just thought I would share a little bit about my story, how I deal with chronic stress, and the plan I've come up with to try and make it through this without falling apart. I have found it very difficult to get motivated since November. I feel like hearing that new information took every ounce of life out of my body, and it kind of felt like steamrolled, and I feel like I'm trying to climb my way out of a really dark, deep hole. But I'm doing my best. I'm not giving up, because I am persistent. I am worth it. And for the longest time, I just was satisfied to keep the weight on, but I'm tired of carrying this weight around, and I'm just tired. Like, I want the weight gone. I want to be healthy. I want to age. I want to get older and be healthy. So I'm really making myself a priority, And I used to think that was selfish, that I had to put everybody else's needs before me because, we were dealing with some heavy stuff. But in fact, I'm learning as I'm getting older that it's really important I put myself first. That's not being selfish. Because it's like when you're on the plane, the pilot says if the plane's going down, put your oxygen mask on first because you can't help somebody else if you're, incapacitated. So it's kind of the same thing. So I'm realizing that. I'm realizing that I am worth the effort. And that's why I'm sharing these monthly updates, because a lot of you really connect with me and you count on these updates because maybe you're not getting support in your life. So this is just a nice, safe place for all of us people to come together and support one another. So since July 10th, that's when I began this weight loss journey. I'm working one-on-one with a dietitian, and she's helped me to learn how to eat healthy again. And it's real simple. There's no counting points or calories. I'm not obsessing about food, and it is one of the easiest ways I have found to lose weight. So basically, it's a balanced plate approach. I have a bunch of videos on it. I'll link them here. You can go check it out there. But it really does work if you follow it. But I'm being honest with you. Since about Christmas, I've gotten into eating sugar again and making bad choices. And even though my weight just kind of plateaued, I could tell I was starting to look puffy again. My joints were aching, but I really just didn't care. I need to have the pity party for myself and get it over with. Glad that I did, because now I'm ready to move on. And another thing that I want you to know is that it is okay if you have a bad day, a bad week, or a bad month. But it doesn't mean you can throw all of your hard work away, because you are worth the effort. And I'm here to show you, I am persistent. I'm not giving up, and it might take me 2 years to lose 50 pounds, and that's okay. But I really hope that I get there. I'd love to get there. Well, I'm not going to put a time on it, because then that just causes me stress. And that's another thing that I have to learn, is not to put so much pressure on myself, because I'm great at doing that. So I know that I have to snap out of this rut, and I'm trying my best to, because it is possible to lose weight, even if you're under stress, even if you're 55, but it's not as easy as it was to lose weight, say, when I was 25. So I've come to realize if I lose 1 or 2 pounds a month, that's okay, because I'm not starving myself. I'm not interested in any other plan. If something, works for somebody else, that's great. This is what's working for me. I know a lot of you have tried it, and it's working for you as well. So long chronic stress is really beginning to take a toll on my health, and I'm noticing it more as I'm older. And I've had 2 instances in the evening while I was asleep that have kind of scared me. So I have an appointment with my nurse practitioner in a couple of weeks, because my doctor left. He's in Australia now. So now I've been appointed a nurse practitioner, which is great. They're lovely. I've had them in the past. So one night I woke up in the middle of the night, and I just felt such a heaviness on my chest, and the room was closing in, and I realized I was having a panic or an anxiety attack. And I've never really experienced those up until a few years ago, and I don't understand why, because it just happened out of the blue and when I was sleeping. So that really scared me. And something else that has happened was I was sleeping, and my heart rate woke me up because it was really going fast. And I think again, I was having an anxiety attack. So I took my blood pressure. I have a blood pressure machine at home. I felt fine otherwise. Trust me, if I thought it was a heart attack, I would have, went to the hospital. But I'm realizing now that all of this chronic stress is causing me a lot of anxiety, and it's difficult to deal with. And some days, what I am realizing is that some days I wake up and I don't have a lot of mental energy, if that makes sense. So I will allow myself some grace, and I'll just stay in my pajamas and I'll do work on the computer. Or if I don't want to work on the computer, I'll just do whatever I want to do. And that's okay. I allow myself one day, but I'm not going to allow myself a couple, because then I know I'll get lazy. But it is okay, because my body's telling me, maybe my body isn't physically tired, but mentally my body is tired. So I'm realizing to recognize the signs that my body's telling me, oh, you need to just chill today. And That's really, really important. And that is one thing that is helping me, is recognizing when I'm not having a good day and just do what my body asks me to do. It is almost impossible to live life with this black cloud hanging over our head. For the 3 months, I would say that the three of us really were down, and rightly so. But we always have been close, and we always talk about things, and we came to the conclusion that we just have to live each day to the fullest, to be appreciative of every day. But if somebody says, well, try not to think about it, you can't not think about it. It's always there. You can just never turn it off. And my husband described it, because I said, how do you feel about it? And he says he feels like he's walking around with a bomb that he doesn't know when it's going to go off. And I thought that's such a great analogy. So we're just doing our best to chug along every day, and we're really focusing on making memories, living each day to the fullest, being appreciative. And that is going to lead me into the tips that I want to share with you today. This is important, and I want to make sure that I say it right. A doctor told me many years ago not to focus on the numbers on the blood work report. Yes, they are important for the doctors to concern themselves with, but the most important thing that I should worry about is how my husband is feeling. And if he is telling me he feels fine, then take it, accept it, and appreciate it. I get so caught up in the numbers, so caught up on things that I research. And another thing this wise doctor told me many years ago, do not Google things. If you want information, ask the doctor, because everybody is different. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's treatment plan is different. And what one person may experience, another person won't. So I think a lot of times whenever we're dealing with an illness, it's real easy to fall into a trap of comparing our illness to somebody else. And that, it's a slippery thing to do, and I caution you not to do it, because it can really rob you of your joy and your happiness. So honestly, if you are dealing with someone that is ill or going through a difficult time, just check in with them and ask them, how are you feeling? And if they're telling you, I feel great today, then go with that. Don't worry about, the what ifs, the could haves, the should haves, all those things. Because I know whenever I think too far ahead or think in the past, I get really, really anxious. And it's a challenge to always remind myself to just be present. But if that's one piece of advice that I could give you, it's a really important one to learn to do, is just be in the present. Because when I think about the future and reminisce about the past and get angry about, oh, I'll never be able to do this or that, that can really mess up my mind, and then I'll just be in a bad mood and make really bad choices. And we know I'm a stress eater. A lot of you are stress eaters too, and that's why I'm talking about this today and sharing it with you. It's not an easy thing for me to talk about, but I felt called to share it with you because I know so many of you resonate with me and my story, and I just want you to know that you are worth the effort. You are worth getting up every day and doing your best that day. And just because you might be going through something terrible in your life, and I'm very sorry if you are, but you still deserve to take care of yourself. So that is what I'm trying to do. So our reality is we have to live with a cancer monster hanging over our head. I'd love to give it a boot in the butt, but we're just learning to deal with it and do our best every day. So the 3 tips that I have for you, I have used them in the past and I'm getting back to using them. I need to take my own advice because I know that they do work and they have helped me through some really hard times. So the first thing is, you got to appreciate the good news. You really have to focus on the good, because trust me, there's going to be lots of bad, and it's real easy to go down that dark hole, but I urge you not to. Focus on the good, and when those bad thoughts come into your head, focus on the good. So how are we focusing on this horrible news that my husband has metastasized cancer in his lungs? Well, the good news is we met with the doctor last week and the tumors are growing, but they're growing very slowly. And they're in places in the lungs where she, fingers crossed, does not foresee it causing problems for a while. So we are thankful for that. Of course, it doesn't make it any easier to know that he's walking around with these tumors in his lungs, but he could be feeling really ill right now and things could be really bad, and he's not. So we are enjoying life and choosing to focus on the positive. So I'm thankful for the news that the tumors are growing slowly, because it means that my husband gets to live longer without living in pain. And that is something to be very grateful for. The second suggestion that I have for you is at the end of the day, you can either write this down or you can just recite it in your head. And that's what I do. And it is, I want you to be grateful for 5 things. Some days it's hard to be grateful for one thing, and on those days just do your best to be grateful for 5 things. Thank you for your eyesight. Thank you for the lungs that are allowing you to breathe. Thankful that you have a house over your head, food in your belly. It doesn't have to be grand things, but if you practice this every day, I can assure you that it is going to turn any negativity that you are carrying with you. It's going to be more difficult, I guess, to be negative. It sounds ridiculous, but I know that it works because, like I said, I have practiced all of these things. And with time and with practice, you'll get better at it. You can't hold on to hate and happiness at the same time. So if I have to choose between the two, I'm choosing happiness. So I'm going to even if I have to recite it a few times a day, I'm going to recite it a few times a day. And the last suggestion that I have for you is to breathe. Lots of times I will catch myself holding my breath, literally and figuratively. Whenever I feel anxious and start panicking about the future, I just stop breathing, and I'm breathing really shallow. And I need to remember, no, you need to take deep breaths because they really help to calm you. And another trick, I can't remember where I heard this. I think it was on a television show we were watching where somebody was having sort of a panic attack. And the doctor said, count backwards, but not in sequence, because it's impossible for your brain to do the two. So you can't be panicked and counting backwards out of sequence, if that makes sense. 10, 6, 8, 2, 9, you know what I mean? Not in sequence. It works. I've tried it. It works. So just remembering to take deep breaths every once in a while, it helps to lower your blood pressure. It helps to calm you and helps to keep you calm. And it's important, if you are a caregiver to someone, that to be honest about your feelings, to be honest about, what you're scared about, because they're just as scared and they have worries about you, they're worried about leaving you. Something else that I want to throw in is that if you feel like crying, cry. Crying is a release. It is not a sign of weakness. For many, many years, I would not allow myself to cry because I had a doctor many years ago tell me not to cry because they didn't have time to deal with that. It was a very cold and callous thing to say. So now I allow myself to cry. And one of the reasons I think is because I am just so full of stress that there's no more room. So I have to make room. So I just see the tears as letting, some of the old stress off. I'm coming up to the 1-year anniversary of my mom's passing. Her 90th birthday is next week. I have a sibling that is dealing with a very serious health diagnosis at the moment. And it's just a lot piling on me. I always thought that I had to be stoic and strong to hold everybody and everything together. But by doing that, I think I allow myself maybe to fall apart. So I'm realizing in my old age that it's okay to cry. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually, I think, a sign of strength because you have been strong for so long that you just need to let off some steam. So think of a tea kettle when it starts to boil, when it starts to whistle and the steam starts coming out. That's kind of what I think about whenever I'm feeling a little stressed. So that was really long-winded. I hope you're still here, but I just wanted to be open and share what I'm going through with you, but also share some things that I know from my own experience can be helpful if you're going through a difficult time. Now let's talk about why you're here. So, I hate having to say this, but in February I gained 1.3 pounds. So now my total loss is 19.7 instead of 21.1 or whatever it was. So frustrated. But you know what? It's okay. It could have been 10 pounds I put on because I really went off the rails in February, let me tell you. And you know what I learned about it is that food that I hadn't eaten in a while, I was just eating it. Anxiety, my emotional eater in me. I didn't feel good as I was eating it. It didn't taste good. I didn't know why I was eating it. Like, why do I do this to myself? So obviously, I still have lots of work to do on my emotional eating aspect. And you know what? I'm just being honest. I'm human. We're all human. I can't be perfect, 100% of the time. Nobody is. So my plan for March, I'm so excited. Winter, I think, has left the building. I hope it has, because it was 16 Celsius yesterday. I think that's like, 63 Fahrenheit or something like that. So for March, I plan on walking 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I cannot set myself up for failure because I am a person that is very hard on myself. So I'm going to print off just a calendar page and I'm going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 15-minute walk. But I know if I leave my house, it's going to take me more than 15 minutes to come back home. But I'm hoping the sun will shine. With the birds chirping and the nice weather, my 15-minute walk will turn into a 30-minute walk. And I'm thinking that once I get a few walks in, I'm going to realize, wow, this is really good for my health, not just my physical health, but my mental health. And this is, I'm just going to want to walk more often and for long. I am also doing some research. I'm going to do some meal prep. I have found a protein-rich chickpea salad that I'm going to make, and I'm going to have it prepared in the fridge. So I just grab the container, throw it in a bowl, good to go. Because I know me, I can be lazy when it comes to taking care of myself. I would rather just eat something on the go. So I think it's really important for me to have something ready to go in the fridge, and that is something I have not done. And if I would have done it, I probably would have lost more than 19 pounds. But we learn by our mistakes. So learn from me, learn through my mistakes. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I have discovered a smoothie recipe using high protein Greek yogurt, low glycemic index berries like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. I put in some flaxseed, a little bit of that, some water, and it is so good. Because if we have a large meal, say at noon hour, lots of times I'm not that hungry in the evening. So I know that I need to eat and get some protein in. So I have been making a smoothie and it's pretty good, and it does help to fill me up. So if you haven't followed any of my other weight loss journey, I will link the playlist here. Thank you so much for sticking with me today. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's free. I upload 2 to 3 videos a week, a lot on fashion, some beauty, weight loss, because I do have a large segment of my audience that does like weight loss. I just want my channel to be like a magazine for women over 50. Maybe today you feel like beauty, tomorrow you feel like fashion, tomorrow you feel like cooking. I don't know. So I've always thought of my channel as a magazine because that's what I like. I just don't like one topic all the time because it gets boring, and how many times can you talk about the same subject, right? So I just like sharing little bits about myself because I know so many of you can resonate with it, and you have told me that it's really helping you. So if you need support, click that subscribe button and come back here, because we have a really nice group of people here, men and women, that support each other, and let us help you with your weight loss journey. I'll see you soon. Bye.